Raphael Varane finished his career holding a trophy aloft in the air, something we had become so used to seeing.
It's so good to see.
Okay, I may be cheating a bit given he had a 23-minute cameo at Como, but come on. That barely counts. 23 minutes? It's unfortunate that his early retirement from the game at just 31 years old feels like something we could see coming from a mile away. Varane was always outspoken about the amount of matches that was constantly increasing with every Euro and World Cup expansion or the addition of the Nations League. As he once said, quote, "There are too many games, the schedule is overcrowded, and it's at a dangerous level for players' physical and mental well-being. As a player, I feel very privileged to do the job I love every day, but I feel these changes are damaging our game." Since his move to Real Madrid in 2011, there was just 3 seasons where Varane didn't pick up an injury or 2 or 3 or 4 that pushed his absences into the double digits. In some ways, with all of the disruptions in his schedule, it almost makes his career all the more impressive, given he was able to stay at the top level for so long, before the deadly duo of injuries mixed with age reared their heads. I guess that's why the French Football Federation president, Philippe Diallo, said that Varane was, quote, "a man of exemplary integrity and professionalism. He embodied the values of courage, commitment, and humility. He is an example to the younger generations through his talent, leadership, and total commitment to promoting French football." In fact, there's a common thread there whenever you read or hear people's opinions of Varane. Just look to Didier Deschamps, who was the France coach throughout Varane's time as an international, and what he had to say about Varane. Quote, "He arrived at a young age and quickly established himself as a leader both on and off of the pitch, where his opinion was listened to and respected. But as I've often said, age is not a criterion for success at the highest level. I remember him as a player who was always looking out for others and for the team."
21 juin 2011, Raphaël Varane, 18 ans et 24 matchs en professionnel avec le RC Lens, s'engage pour le Real Madrid. Montant du transfert, presque 10 millions d'euros.
You need that kind of mentality to be signed by Real Madrid at just 18 years of age, and I'd say even more so as a center back than an attacker. When an attacker makes a mistake, it doesn't lead to a goal, as a defending mistake would. But before Real Madrid, Raphael Varane was playing with Lens, coming through their youth system with Thorgan Hazard and Jeffrey Kondogbia, but was fast-tracked to the first team, making his debut at just 17 years old and attracting plenty of interest from clubs around Europe, including Manchester United and Real Madrid. In the end, Zinedine Zidane's influence was enough to tempt him to sign with Real Madrid in 2011, while Mourinho, who was only 1 year off from winning the treble with Inter, also played a big role in his decision. In his first season at Real Madrid, Mourinho used the 18-year-old sparingly, but he ended the season as a league champion all the same. In the next season, however, he managed to dislodge Pepe from the starting 11 to partner Sergio Ramos. You know what's funny? Pepe was 31 at the time, and look at what Mourinho said. Quote, "It's very easy to analyze the thing with Pepe. His problem has a name, and that name is Raphael Varane. That's the whole story. It isn't easy for a man aged 31 with a lot of experience behind him to be blown out of the water by a kid of 19. And he's a great kid. I've been brave enough to play the kid. It's very simple. The problem is very simple. Pepe's life has changed." Now, isn't it crazy that Pepe and Varane have now retired within months of each other? Anyway, it was indeed that 2012-13 season where Varane established himself as an important player at Real Madrid, where he would go on to win plenty of titles with them, helping them to win La Décima in 2014, the first of his 4 Champions League titles with Los Blancos, 4 Club World Cups, 3 La Liga titles, 3 Supercopa de España, and 1 Copa del Rey. But it was also in his Real Madrid breakthrough 2012-13 season where Varane picked up the first of a long line of lengthy injuries. Playing against Espanyol, Varane stumbled while making a tackle, suffered a partial tear of the meniscus, and would require surgery. That was on May 11th, 2013, and the guesses at that time were that Varane would be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Come August of the next season, and Varane was still unavailable and recovering from his injury. He wouldn't return until October. 5 months later, despite the original assessment being 4 to 6 weeks. 1 month later, he would be sidelined with another injury. Thankfully, the 2014-15 season would see him stay healthy throughout. 15-16 would be great for him as well, but an injury to a thigh muscle once again at the tail end of the season would see him miss both the Champions League final in 2016 and Euro 2016 entirely. I don't need to harp on and chronicle every single injury that Varane had in his career, but look at these numbers provided by Transfermarkt to visualize season by season how many matches Raphael Varane missed for club and country. Not only that, but how many separate injuries that contributed to that total number of matches missed per season. Thankfully, one of the seasons where you can see he missed the fewest amount of matches was one of the most important of his career. In the 2017-18 season, Varane didn't just win the Club World Cup and the Champions League, but he was also an integral piece of France's World Cup win in Russia, as he was one of the players that played every single minute of the tournament for Didier Deschamps, from the opening match win over Australia to the 4-2 triumph over Croatia in the final. Euro 2020, in 2021, would be less successful for France, as they would crash out against Switzerland via a shootout, and Raphael Varane would leave Real Madrid that same summer after 10 years with Los Blancos, leaving as a legendary figure that played a massive role in Real Madrid's 4 Champions League titles in 5 years. His transfer to Manchester United for around 40 million euros came at a time when the club was a bit chaotic, going from Solskjaer to Carrick the caretaker to Rangnick in a single season. But hey, at least he got to reunite with Ronaldo, right? That was cool to see for a while, but Varane started to accumulate injuries. A groin strain, a hamstring injury, soft tissue injuries began to add up. And while he would still play more matches than he would miss, he would unfortunately be unavailable quite often, and United needed him dearly. The thing with injuries is that there's this vicious injury cycle. You get injured, you rehab it, you favor one side a little bit, and then you get re-injured. It's an injury-re-injury cycle. It happens all the time. But that said, he's a winner, and he still won 2 trophies with United, despite the club consistently looking like they were underachieving. And in those 2 cup victories, Varane played the full 90 in each of them, adding to his trophy cabinet before choosing to take on something a little different. You know, I often say that Cesc Fabregas' transition to retirement was chosen so well. The man went to AS Monaco, getting to live in Monaco, the Principality, and enjoy himself. Not bad. Then he moved to Como to live on the beautiful lake in northern Italy. That seemed to be what Varane intended on doing. He had retired from international football in 2023, he had called time on fighting for trophies at the very top, and he was ready to transition into a project. A free transfer to Como, a 2-year deal, but his Como playing career lasted just 23 minutes, unfortunately, as his knee issues had come back and defeated him. Like I said earlier, it's crazy to think that Pepe, who at 31 years old was benched by Varane, but ended up having an incredible amount of longevity in his career, whereas Varane, at 31 years old, is now retiring due to injuries. It's an insanely harsh way to finish your career, to be forced into it rather than choosing when to go, such as Toni Kroos did. But even though the ending is harsh, the ink is dry on what he has won in his career. And when it comes to career achievements and silverware, Raphael Varane is undoubtedly in the 99th percentile of players, a legend of the game. But don't worry, you'll still see him around, as he will transition into a different role at Como, playing his part alongside Fabregas and Henry as they try to turn that club into Serie A mainstays. And given how many people have said that he was always a leader, that he was always an example, a coaching role wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, so I'm curious to see where he will be in 3 to 5 years from now. Anyways, guys, I thought I would just honor a legend today, as the news was sad, but not overly surprisingly, unfortunately. But be sure to let me know your thoughts on Varane down below. Beyond that, that's it. I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!